Not every small pickguard SG is a 61 reissue. The main characteristic of the 61 SG is this neck joint, which meets the body around the 22nd fret area. So as you can see, it's down here. And it's very noticeable because you have this little step. In comparison, a normal batwing SG Standard, the neck joint is at the 19th fret, so around here. So this is the first way to tell them apart, because there are small pickguard SGs with the longer neck joint. For example, the 2017 and 2018 standards. So by all accounts, this guitar right here, it has 61 specs. But it is not a 61 reissue, this is a standard. We have this very peculiar period between 2013 and 2015 where the standards also had this neck joint. So how to tell those apart? Well, the headstock. You see, standards have a smaller headstock. 61 reissues normally have the oversized headstock, which is larger, wider, especially around this lower area. If you notice, on my guitar, the crown inlay is aligned with these two middle string posts. Instead, on a 61 reissue, the crown inlay is slightly higher. My guitar is a 2013 Gibson SG Standard. And in that year, they did not make 61 reissues. This guitar was never advertised as a 61. It was just a standard. The colors in 2013 were ebony, like this one. We have classic white, natural burst, and cherry. And the retail price was slightly lower as well. Brand new, this guitar costs something around $1,300 and $1,400, which is quite lower than what most 61 reissues retailed for. And very often you see those guitars sold as 61s with inflated prices. So pay attention to those small details and you not overpay for a guitar that's not what's being advertised. The only guitar in 2013 that had the 61 moniker attached to it was the 61 Tribute, but that guitar has the sideways vibrola. And there was also the original model. And both these guitars have the larger headstock. There is no such thing as a 61 reissue in 2013. It does not exist at all. It's a standard. If you see any guitar being advertised as a 61 reissue from 2013, specifically from that year, 2013, and it has a stop bar, and all those other characteristics as I explained to you, it's not a 61 reissue. It's a standard. I cannot stress this enough. Okay, it has 61 specs mostly, but it's a standard and should be priced as so. Of course, if you want to pay $1,600, $1,800 for a standard, fine. You pay as much as you want for a guitar if you really want it. But these guitars were sold for $1,400. Okay. Okay, but how about the newer 61s? Those have the smaller headstock as well. It's probably Gibson being a bit cheeky, but if you notice, they're called the standard 61s, not 61 reissues. They're standard 61s. So 61 is denoting this body style and not actually a 61 reissue. You know, it's not a copy of the 61. It's just based on a 61. Arguably, the older 61s were not as accurate either, but it is what it is. They are what they are. So what's different between the 2013 standard and a newer standard 61 from 2019 onwards? Let's start with the hardware. The newer standard 61s have nickel hardware. This guitar, the 2013 standard, has chrome hardware. The newer ones are nickel. Okay. The newer ones also have a thinner binding on the neck. This one's a little thicker, so it sort of affects playability a little. I'm not saying this is a bad guitar, but it is a fact that the smaller binding gives you a little bit extra playing surface. And the newer ones also have 500K pots with orange drop caps. This one has 300K pots originally, and very small caps. They're not as good. I mean, they're fine, but orange drops are better. You cannot compare this guitar to a newer Standard 61. There are different guitars, and trying to justify that the new 61 costs $1,800 does not make this guitar more valuable. It is what it is, okay? At least in my opinion. Okay, so just a small video to explain this, because it's very confusing and I see 2013 standards being sold as 61s all the time, and honestly it pisses me off a little bit. So see you next time.